Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now August 7th of 2022, and not only are we getting closer to TV shows out there like Star Wars Andor, The Bad Batch Season 2, as well as Tales of the Jedi, but for 2023, without a doubt, by far the most anticipated Star Wars TV series is indeed the Ahsoka Tano TV show starring actress Rosario Dawson. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars that a lot of Star Wars fans have been very confused about is, of course, exactly what's going on between Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and others out there that's working on all of these new Star Wars TV shows and exactly who is in control of what. Now, we made it clear before, multiple times that basically who is in control of Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte is only and only Kathleen Kennedy. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have no say in the matter for those two TV shows, so hence, that's why a lot of fans are very skeptical right now, including myself, about The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. Now, moving on, there's been a lot of problems happening behind the scenes between Kathleen Kennedy and the Disney executives and exactly how it's leading to further complications of a specific Star Wars TV show, and Kathleen Kennedy actually planning to leave the project if things get worse. Now, there's obviously a lot of things that are happening between Kathleen Kennedy and the Disney executives for a very long time now. I mean, there's been a lot of things happening between them, and you can really see it through Kathleen Kennedy's eyes when she's talking about Star Wars in interviews and talking about the creators. She just doesn't really seem to be all there, or all that, I guess you could say, caring for the Star Wars fans. So moving on from all of this, with Disney and Lucasfilm now focused on their new Star Wars projects that will be announced later this year, creators Favreau and Filoni are getting ready to reveal their plans for the future of the Star Wars brand. Now, it's described, however, that Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy has been having issues with the Acolyte TV show for Disney Plus on a creative scale and wants to step back from the project and has already spoken to Disney executives about her concerns with the show. Now, further, it's described that behind the scenes, Kathleen Kennedy's main reason as to why she wants to leave the Acolyte TV series has a bunch to do with the fact that Disney executives have been stepping into the project on some level, and that they have the right to do so since Kathleen Kennedy has been costing Disney way too much money with the delays and the setbacks. Now, what the executives did is that they now have full creative power or control over the marketing over the Acolyte series and took that power away from Kathleen Kennedy, since they are concerned about her marketing style and how it could lead to an even bigger failure for the actual show. Now, on top of that, Kathleen Kennedy now wants to leave the project since she had never, of course, actually had her plans put into place on the marketing style of the Acolyte that was recently taken away by the Disney executives. Disney has already given her an ultimatum anyway, recently since she had another recent setback for the series where Disney warned her that if any more setbacks come into play, that they will need to step in to rearrange a deal on the creative side of the project in order to give Kathleen strict limitations. Now, this project is likely to get another setback anyway, and Kathleen is well aware about that, and that she is trying to find ways to get off the project and no longer instructing the show creatively speaking for Leslie Headland. Now, let me just pause here for a second before we get on to the next piece of material, is that we've always seen this happen with Kathleen Kennedy. We've always seen her having problems with, the Acolyte show and, of course, other Star Wars projects out there, such as the Solo: A Star Wars Story movie. That was probably the biggest failure on her end because it led to losing millions upon millions of dollars because basically she reshot 80% of that movie. She hired Ron Howard, which, by the way, cost a lot of money, and the movie flopped anyway. So that is just one example, and I fear that this could very well create another backlash similar to The Last Jedi and create that bitter side of fans again on all other projects by Jon and Dave. But you know what? I think that given that we have a lot of Jon and Dave projects coming up before The Acolyte, that's good news. I think that's going to be enough to convince fans that whatever John and Dave makes is far superior than Kathleen Kennedy. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Thankfully, she's not creatively involved with anything moving forward with Favreau and Filoni. I mean, Mando 3 and Ahsoka are going to be quite an amazing experience to see. Those two big projects that had absolutely zero Kathleen Kennedy input on a creative scale, so looking forward to that. Now, moving from all of this, alright, now Kennedy is set to have another meeting with Disney executives about this thought of hers and why she wants to leave to see if she can reason with the Disney executives and more. Now, the executives are said to not be so happy about this latest action by Kathleen Kennedy, wanting and warning to leave the Acolyte series if Disney steps in on a creative scale, and that Kennedy is now giving the ultimatum to Disney back. Now, this actually just goes to show you Kathleen Kennedy's true nature. Disney gave her an ultimatum, and then Kathleen Kennedy is giving them an ultimatum back. She doesn't really seem to take criticism too well, or she doesn't really seem to take orders too well by superiors, you know. Obviously, I think that she was very overwhelmed with the fact that they are willing to take her creative side away if she has any more setbacks, and now she's finally feeling the pressure of that, and when you're going under pressure, it makes things hard on a creative level. And I think that's obviously why now she wants to leave, and that's exactly what's happening. So, beyond all of this as well, Kathleen Kennedy has said a couple of weeks ago that Leslie Headland, she chose her because she never really saw the prequels, so she's going to be very unbiased with all the Star Wars characters that are going to be associated, you know, with the end of the High Republic era, and how she's going to create some surprises there. What that really means, we're not quite sure, but Kathleen Kennedy admitting that Leslie Headland, the writer of The Acolyte, never really saw the prequels really makes me worried, and it makes a lot of fans out there worried as well, and it makes them remain skeptical even more. Alright, moving on. Now, additionally, Kathleen Kennedy is trying to focus harder on Skeleton Crew, which is going to be her version of Stranger Things, except in space, and that she is trying to make a point to Disney that she can pull off a Stranger Things-esque Star Wars show successfully. That project is still filming with no setbacks as of yet for the newest entry by Kathleen that will release before the Acolyte series. Once again, prime example here is that Kathleen Kennedy literally taking an idea from Stranger Things and just throwing the Star Wars label on top of it. You know, don't be too surprised, by the way, if Skeleton Crew is going to be about these Padawans or these kids, which, by the way, are going to be lost in space. Yes, we know that. But don't be too surprised if it's going to be about monsters or something like that in that sphere of Star Wars, and that could be very well likely. You know, expect them to maybe fight some monsters that we have seen before in the lore. And it might be, you know, a very interesting take on things, but it's just not going to work well in my eyes, given that Kathleen Kennedy is involved, and she's getting, you know, a lot of co-writers to be involved as well, and taking this in a brand new direction with other episodes that she's currently working on too. So, moving from all of this, guys, you know, I would love to hear what you guys have to say about Kathleen Kennedy and the whole Acolyte situation and everything related to the Disney executives. What do you think about the whole entire, you know, thing that's been going on behind the scenes? And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.